For the next 21 days, I'm going to be boxing strictly southpaw. But why? Some of the best boxers, Manny Pacquiao, Usyk, Crawford, are all southpaws. Even switch hitters like Boots Ennis use southpaw to their advantage. So I want to find out, does southpaw really give you a fighting edge? And when those 3 weeks are up, I'm stepping into the ring with a real professional misfits boxer, fighting exclusively southpaw to see if all the grueling hard work paid off, or I'm about to get humbled. But before the journey begins, I need to establish where I'm starting from. So I headed to Soma Fight Club in Bali to spar some of my friends and get a brutal reality check on just how bad my southpaw skills really are before all the hard work begins. So the first 2 rounds, I'm going against an orthodox tank, Louis, then Sam, who's actually a southpaw, before finishing off with an aggressive inside fighter, Crumpets. I started strong, sharp parries, solid footwork, but I made a crucial mistake which led me to the ropes, making me an easy target for Louis. On the bright side, I found creating angles to the right, stepping outside of my opponent's lead foot came naturally, something that would serve me well.
Not bad first round, got battered a bit.
Quite like southpaw, it's quite... feels different. Round 2, however, my defence crumbled. I was getting caught over and over again, struggling to keep up.
I see hate through the pain, I see light in the rain. Dreams of brighter days, tell me what you're thinking.
But what a first 2 rounds I had with Louis. Now it was time to face Sam, an actual southpaw. At first, I was getting tagged, but once again I adjusted. With some music playing in the background, I tapped into instinct, flowing, countering, and moving with flair. Fighting southpaw just felt natural.
30 seconds.
Round 4, I was absolutely gassed, but I still had 3 rounds left. My lungs were burning, my legs heavy, and this round turned into a war. Blow for blow, I noticed it was easier to land shots inside against a southpaw, even though inside fighting isn't my strength. Now, time for the relentless pressure fighter, White Tyson. I couldn't match his inside game, so my survival depended on movement and tight defence, staying out of range and not letting him get close.
I still have 1 ounce of pure venom and power left in me.
The final rounds, pure intensity, trading shots, pushing through exhaustion. Then boom, a brutal body shot nearly took me out. Somehow I managed to finish the rounds. Collapsed, drained, but this was just the start. A grueling 20 days ahead. But for now, time to recover.
I'm being filmed, I can't do it. Okay, you've won already, by the way. 1, 2, 3. More back to the beautiful Latina woman. Oh no. She's done me! Yeah. I need to go train. Oh, bro. Ah.
So to start off day 2, we started on the most important punch, the jab. And to be honest, it felt quite unnatural. My jab wasn't great, and same with the 1-2 combination. I was struggling today, making my stance more bladed. While a bladed stance feels natural in orthodox, it needs a lot of work in southpaw. Nevertheless, I asked for some southpaw advice from one of the coaches at the gym, and I learned some valuable information. Circling to the right and pawing the guard is essential for southpaw, and I need to practice getting my foot on the outside, as this allows me to get a backhand straight to an orthodox fighter's face. Day 3 was absolutely surreal. I got to try kickboxing in southpaw with none other than Hamza, a self-improvement YouTuber that I've been watching for years. This guy has genuinely helped transform my life, and to spar with him before his first fight was such an honour. That's one of the things I love the most about training here in Bali. The networking is incredible. I'm constantly meeting and learning from influencers, millionaires and people I aspire to be like. After our session, Hamza shared some valuable tips with me. With the adrenaline still pumping through my system, I was eager to put it into practice. I had a few rounds of boxing with crumpets, but this time I applied the techniques that the coach taught me yesterday, keeping my front foot on the outside and pivoting right, and honestly it worked like a charm. It made it significantly harder for crumpets to land his shots on me, but don't think I got off lightly. I was still getting caught with so many shots, so my defense still has a lot of work to do.
Today was basically some of the tricks I'd learned, like go fake it to the body, like double right hand. You were like getting out of the way a lot easier to be fair. Harder for me to do what I was trying to do. Yeah, compared to yesterday, when I just sort of kept distance a little bit better today.
Yeah.
I'm going the right way rather than walking into right hands.
Yeah.
Southpaw day 3 already improving, and I did a bit of kickboxing today, so can't complain.
With this new technique of staying on the outside and going to the right of my opponent in Southpaw, I was finally getting the hang of it. So naturally, it was time to test it out in sparring with some random fighters. What could possibly go wrong? So this first guy I sparred was quite skilled with a heavy punch, which naturally forced my defense to improve. We went for a solid 3 rounds, and that's the beauty of sparring good opponents. They switch you on and bring out your best because you either have to show up or get battered. Unfortunately, he caught me with a perfect shot. This would leave a lasting impression. After this, I got to practice my new techniques against a less experienced fighter, which let me experiment and really cement the strategy and move into my opponent's right. It worked like a charm every single time.
You got me.
By the end of the session, I finished off with some bag work and I was knackered. 4 days of constant drilling and sparring, and I'd realised I'd taken home an unexpected souvenir today. What a lovely shoulder. For the next 2 days, I didn't train. Not because I wanted to, but because my body gave me no choice. The bruising around my eye was deeper than it looked. A battle scar that showed my commitment to this journey. I let myself recover, and this reminded me what happens when your defense isn't perfect. Still, I couldn't completely sit still. So I went to this run club for some active recovery and more networking. Sometimes the toughest part isn't the work, but it's knowing when to rest.
Sparkling water. Woo! That was like the end scene of Rocky. Pretty good.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross.
After getting back into the gym and training some weights, I went back to the basics and we focused on the jab. What's the point of me doing the flashy stuff if I don't have the fundamentals to build upon? My right shoulder was killing me. If you've ever boxed before, you know what it's like to first learn the jab. Your shoulder needs to adapt, and that's exactly how I felt. But the pain was good because I was building the muscle. Then we continued to develop that step to the right. What I've noticed when fighting Southpaw is I've got a really natural, flowy style, and this is when I allow myself to have fun and experiment, and I'm not trying too hard to be perfect. A tip that's really helped me build this fluidity is dancing and listening to music when shadowboxing. Moving to the rhythm puts me in a flow state, and most of my boxing seems to be instinct. So what you want to do is train your reflexes like I'm doing here, and in sparring, it'll work naturally. But this is how you improve. Constant repetition, tweaking these little 1%. There's really no secret. Just find a way to make the process fun and it becomes addictive. This game of life is a marathon. I'm constantly improving, but I'll never stop. aggression's there. I'll put it all in today. Now I feel like he's getting a bit better. What do you think?
Yeah, bro, that circle off is really good. It's the advantage for the southpaw if you're fighting an orthodox opponent. Always circle around their lead foot.
To end off day 7, I once again did some recovery. Sauna and ice bath before getting some food. Just to train my brain, I mean eating in southpaw as well. So fork in the right hand, spoon in the left. Proper. This. What are you saying to your meal?
Nice banging.
It's perfect, man. This is all.
Mate, you can eat the bones as well. Look, let's get a bone. Look. Sad
Show
nuts
him.
I am.
Oh, you don't know.
Love it.
What do you know about bone marrow? Day 8, I made my way to the boxing class. Once again, I was sponging as much knowledge from my coach as possible, learning about weight distribution, bringing my weight onto my back foot and pushing it forward for momentum and power. We also practiced a drill that requires us to move between different stances to create that power. We also worked on defense too, which has been a key point I've needed to work on since, well, you've seen my eye. Done some shoulder tap sparring drills for reaction speed. These are brilliant for developing your quick reflexes without needing to take someone's head off. Then we finished off with some bag work. Unfortunately, my sweat was flying onto Mo's face, so sorry about that, bro. This was unfortunately my last day at Soma as my membership was about to run out. I wanted to switch gyms for a change of scenery, but for one final send-off, I watched some of the Soma team fight. However, I ended up getting pretty smashed. The morning sun was nowhere to be found as the rain poured down across Bali. I walked into a new gym with droplets still clinging to my gear. My body wasn't thanking me for last night's celebrations, and that showed in my performance. Starting with defensive drills. Blocking the jab, hook, counter. I could feel my timing was off. The pad session revealed my frustration and I was missing combinations and struggling with coordination. Let this be a lesson. Don't drink alcohol. Despite my hangover, the coach was patient, helping me develop my stance and bend the knees to improve my hooks. He taught me several new combos that my foggy brain struggled to execute. But showing up no matter what is what matters. No excuses. However, the aggression was there and the punches that did land looked devastating. My southpaw was beginning to develop and look a lot more natural. I finished off with some rounds on the bag and ice bath recovery to reset.
Thank you.
I'm doing a vlog. This is what you call southpaw ice cream. So let's eat it in southpaw. Orthodox or southpaw. Oh, hello. Today, I made a new friend that you might recognise, Nightscape. Harry was a southpaw himself, and as my skills were developing, why not teach him some tricks I've learned? And I can't lie, he was already a natural. We warmed up before our spar, and I passed along the lessons I'd gathered so far. Sparring another southpaw is always an interesting experience. I tested the step back backhand that I learnt the other day, and I was surprised how effective it actually was. That's the beauty of training. Learn something and then test it immediately in sparring. Don't be afraid to fall while trying new techniques. Try everything. Harry definitely has potential, and I was impressed for someone who doesn't train boxing regularly. Then I had some harder rounds with crumpets, but mostly found myself running away. Today we finished off with Harry teaching me this sick tornado spin kick, as learning goes both ways. You're probably wondering why I decided 21 days for this challenge. Well, coming to Asia, I lost myself for a while. Drinking, partying, but when I first stepped back into a fighting gym in Bali, everything clicked. My fitness, direction, and my purpose. I wanted to take on a challenge to learn southpaw because switch hitters like Jaron Boots Ennis are simply mesmerising. Like Bruce Lee and McGregor, I want to become water. Adaptable in every situation, whether it's throwing left, right, kicks, or even grappling. Not to become some elite fighter, but because learning martial arts is fun. I choose 21 days. That's the minimum time needed for the brain to truly rewire itself. This is my journey to become water, and by day 20, I was looking like a really sharp southpaw. I also noticed I was looking a lot more in shape since the start, working on my pivots and more advanced angles. Tomorrow was my time to show if all the hard work has been worth it, testing my skills against a beast. But before we go on to that, this video was powered by X Martial. As fighters, our gear isn't just equipment, it's like our real life avatar. Why look basic when you could look legendary? X Martial creates the most eye-catching fight gear I've ever seen. From the nurse-themed MMA sets to these SpongeBob Muay Thai shorts, premium quality with practical touches like hidden pockets. Genius. And to save you some time, I've dropped a link below where you can score 2 mystery MMA/Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu shorts for the price of 1. Just select your size and we'll bring the surprise. Use code DANCUTTLE for 15% off. And now the final test. This whole journey has amounted to this moment. It was time for me to test my skills on an actual misfits professional boxer. And if that wasn't crazy enough, he's a heavyweight. Meet Kells. Instantly, I felt his power, even though he was holding back. And oh my gosh, remind me never to become a heavyweight. I managed to land a few lucky shots, stepping to the right, using the method that I'd been drilling for the last 20 days. It worked, but I couldn't match Kell's insane strength. All those defensive drills finally paid off. My reflexes and slips were the only thing keeping me from the canvas. Thank God I bettered my defense. I'm lucky bro was holding back. But just to clarify, this spar was a little mess about and nothing too serious, but it was a good way for us both to test our skills. But yeah, I can happily say I can use Southpaw confidently now as a new tool in my arsenal. Shout out to Kells for the spar and everyone who helped me throughout this journey. 21 days ago, Southpaw felt awkward, but now I've turned it into a genuine weapon. The secret? Being willing to look foolish before you can look good. So, what's your Southpaw? What skill are you avoiding because you're afraid of the learning curve? Anyway, come back next week as I fly to the PP Islands in Thailand to have a drunken boxing match with a complete stranger.